Andrew McCart, iFLTV, delighted to be joined by my big pal, Billy Nelson. Whoa, whoa. You drunk, Billy?
No,
You get on it after that win the day. You happy?
fuck boxing. One of the Rangers.
That's four words I've never thought I'd hear you say.
Uh,
Fuck boxing and fuck Rangers. Um, but I want to get your thoughts on Eddie Hearn's comments. I've done an interview with him down in Manchester this week. But first, I want to get your quick thoughts on Jack Carter's performance last night against Arnold Barboza. What was your initial thoughts to that?
yeah, I thought Jack lost the fight. I thought he lost by 2-3 rounds. Uh, I would have just liked to have seen him up the pace a little bit. But if sometimes when boxers can't do that, it's usually a sign that they're maybe struggling at the weight, and maybe it's time for him to step up to welterweight.
Mm. Uh, Obviously, the fight was one of them. It was like a chess match when fighters they were waiting for that opening, and it just never seemed to come for both fighters in certain large parts of the fight. I just want to touch on the knockdown because Eddie Hearn to me said it was a knockdown, or he thought it was a knockdown. What's your thoughts on it all?
No, it was clear. It was clear there was it was either a tangle of the feet or the legs, and the referee called it immediately. So I don't think you can have any qualms about that.
Okay, well, listen, it was a great event down in Manchester. Some great young prospects coming through, but I want to jump straight in at the deep end with you right now. Now, you would have saw that interview I done with Eddie Hearn, when he mentioned Martin Bakole and Anthony Joshua wanting the Dubois fight next winner if he beats Parker. Obviously, we know Ify Ajagbo and Bakole is the final eliminator. So I want to get your response to it, please, Billy.
Well, it's very plain and simple that Anthony Joshua can he get Daniel Dubois? I mean, everybody's been presumptuous that he's going to beat Joe Parker, which is no gimme. But if he did beat Joe Parker, he can he fight. There's two fights that Daniel can. There's three things Daniel can do: fight Usyk, fight his mandatory, which will be Mark Bakole when we take care of Jagba, or vacate. Now the high probability is he's going to fight Usyk. You know what I mean? He's going to avoid Martin like the plague, uh, and we'll have to wait until the the unification fight's made. But in the meantime, the best fight out there for Martin Bakole and Anthony Joshua is to fight each other in Africa, maybe October time. I'm not necessarily saying in Kinshasa or in Congo, although I think that's the preferred choice because you've got the Foreman and Ali thing. But under no circumstances, unless he vacates the title, why would he vacate being a world champion just to fight Anthony Joshua again? It's great. It won't happen. Anthony had his chance to have thing with the rematch. I don't understand. He got the rematch clause and he's the challenger.
Mm.
I've never heard of that. I mean, it's just they're tying up all the belts. But we'll get more opportunity sooner rather than later, and then Martin Bakole will dominate the world heavyweight division.
When you mention them three scenarios, right? Do you think that if the Dubois wins, he's going to unify against Usyk,
100%.
and then obviously with that will happen the end of the year possibly, and then how confident are you that an Anthony Joshua Bakole fight will get made?
How confident?
Mm.
Well, let's put it in simple terms. Martin Bakole wants to fight. His team want to fight. His promoter wants to fight. Anthony Joshua says it's a great fight. Eddie's now saying it's a great fight. Why should it not happen?
What do you make of Ben Shalom's comments saying that Eddie doesn't want the fight? He doesn't want it for Joshua.
I can't speak on Ben Shalom's behalf, can I?
Mm.
But Eddie probably doesn't want it because if the truth be told, because he knows it's a career-ending fight for Anthony Joshua when Martin Bakole beats him.
What Eddie also said, like, obviously, we know that Joshua isn't scared of any man. He's took the rematches with Ruiz and Usyk again, and he's fought Klitschko. Fought them all basically. And then when Eddie Hearn, again, it was quite funny. It was quite a bit of a joke when he says, "Who do you think Martin Bakole is? The second coming of George Foreman?" I mean, a lot of people have compared him to George Foreman. Can I get your response to that?
Of course, he's not a second coming, but what he will be, he'll be the second man to stop Anthony Joshua if Anthony Joshua doesn't have a fight in the interim.
If, when you look at the landscape for Joshua, right? Obviously, Joshua is a superstar. He dictates where he wants to go with his next fight. Clearly, he's he's done wonders for British boxing. So for you, Billy, with a manager's hat on and maybe a fan's hat on rather than a coach's hat and Mark Bakole's coach and manager, where do you see Anthony Joshua going next?
He'll have a warm-up fight March or April, probably April, and then
Against?
whoever, somebody. Wilder's easy meeting, isn't he? I mean, he's finished. He's gun shy. Doesn't carry the punch anymore. He'll get an easy fight, get a win, and then I think he'll fight Martin Bakole because it's the biggest fight out there. You know, it's the biggest fight out there. Listen, as I'll reiterate what I've just said. Everybody in our team wants to fight. AJ's team seem to want to fight. Turkey Al Sheikh, most importantly, wants to fight. So let's get the fight made. Let's, after Anthony has his warm-up fight or his confidence boosting fight, and then when we beat Efe Jagba for the final eliminator, because we'll take Anthony Joshua in an interim fight before we fight for the world title. No problem.
Is that dangerous? Facing Anthony Joshua before you fight for the world title?
Every fight at world level is dangerous, Andy. Any world-class fighter will tell you that. Look at Jack Catterall last night. Everybody said it was a walk in the park because Barboza got beat against McComb. Two fights are never the same, mate.
Nah, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, Billy. But listen, like I said to you, right? Well, you mentioned if you're a Jagba, you can't take your eye off the ball here because this is a banana skin fight. I mean, it's all good and well talking about Joshua and beating Daniel Dubois for the world title, but you do have a job to do. May 2nd, I think it is. May 3rd? 2nd?
Second. 100% our sole focus is on Efe Jagba. Efe Jagba will get Martin Bakole's full attention, and that'll be far too much for Efe Jagba. Make no mistake about that.
When obviously people are going off that last performance against Jared Anderson, people are saying that now that maybe Jared Anderson was too young, it was too soon for Jared to face something like Martin Bakole. Efe Jagba, is he the one that's probably going to go in there and test Martin? Do you believe he's going to give Martin a test, or do you think there's going to be another standout performance?
It'll be another standout performance. Anderson's a far better fighter than Efe Jagba. Listen, Jared Anderson was 1-4 to beat Martin Bakole. So all of a sudden he's too young and he's not as good as what they thought. Shite. The guy's a good fighter. The guy's an excellent fighter. Guided properly, that guy will win a world title. You mark my words.
Obviously, like I said, how's the big man looking? I've seen him in the gym. I've seen him last week as well at the fights. The big man's not got a smile on the face, so he seems to be in a good place right now, mentally and physically.
He's very good. He's actually on the weight that he was when he fought Jared Anderson now, which is excellent. We'll get him down. I hope to get him down 10, 14 pounds. That's all he needs to get down.
Because he can't listen. I say to this all the time. Everyone says to me that Martin looks too big and he's this, that, and the next thing. But I always say he might be 280 pounds, 290 pounds, but he carries it well. He doesn't gas. He's not like I say, like sometimes Zhang. You take Zhang past 6 rounds because of his size. Maybe he can't carry the weight, and you can see him tired after 6 rounds. It seems like the big man carries the weight. However, for you, Billy, you mentioned 10 pounds, lose that 10, 12 pounds. What is Martin's ideal weight, do you think?
19, 19.2.
19.2. Was that 260 pounds, 250, 60 pounds, is that?
280 less, 14.2. 268.
268. Yeah. And like I say, he carries it well.
People are hoping that he gasses. people are hoping that he gets beat. You know what I mean? Because he's a dangerous, dangerous man. You know, I read some of the shite on X and other things saying, "Oh, he'll gas out. He's slow." People think he's slow. Well, you've seen him in the gym.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? He's pinging people for fun, and you know it just makes me laugh. The week before he went to America, or a few days before we went to America, actually, we went down to Peter Fury's gym, and he get 14 rounds straight off the bat against Hughie Fury and the other big heavyweight he's got there, the big boy,
Matty, I know who you're talking. Yeah, but yeah, I know.
big boy Matty, good boxer. You
Yeah.
know, so listen, see if you can do 14 rounds. You'll do championship rounds, no problem.
No, he is I've seen, like I said, I've seen him no bother. But see, other than Anthony Joshua, right? If Daniel Dubois does go down that Usyk, like I said, we're assuming that we're just assuming here. And we're just saying that he does beat Parker and he does go down that Usyk route and the Anthony Joshua fight. If that doesn't come about for whatever reason, you know, boxing, Billy, it's a business. Does the Shang Caballero winner interest you?
I will fight any of the two runners. We'll fight any of the two, no problem. The two guys that ducked him, we'll fight him, no problem. It's already been it has been mentioned previously. I said we'll have that fight in a heartbeat.
Hmm.
Martin will take care of two of them, no problem.
And
And then
what?
then that gives us options of two world title fights. Not only would you be mandatory for the IBF, but you'd also hold what they're going to fight for next, which is basically the interim world title, isn't it?
When you let's say Martin becomes a world champion and you mentioned that the titles are getting held up, where would you sit on rematch clauses for Martin?
I would only have rematch clauses on voluntary defences because if you're a mandatory challenger, I mean, I'm not a hypocrite. If you're a mandatory challenger, you've earned the right to be. So why should you get a rematch clause?
Hmm.
What a lot of shite! It never ever happened until the last 18 months, 2 years. It never. When I grew up in boxing, it never ever happened. The mandatory challenger getting a rematch clause. It only happened in voluntary defences
Hmm.
because you're given that that opponent the opportunity to fight for the world title. So you're safe. You're kind of safeguarding your interests, really, aren't you?
Yeah.
By putting a rematch clause in, but certainly not for mandatory challenges.
Billy, one final one for me before I know you're at the gym. I think you might have Crocker in. In fact, you know what? Let's talk about Crocker because I cannot wait for that fight. We're talking about Big Martin Bakole, and I forget that Lewis Crocker's in an absolute fantastic fight in a couple of weeks against Paddy Donovan. Talk to me about how Crocker's looking.
Oh, different gravy now. Absolute different gravy. We've had, well, in my opinion, we've had two guys up here that are better than Paddy Donovan. Well, they're better than Paddy Donovan. We sparred Josh Taylor,
Mhm.
unified world champion. Magnificent rounds. We've got more rounds with him this coming week on Monday and Wednesday. And we've also had Kieran Malloy up.
Mhm.
I think, he's a good fighter, that boy. He was the last guy to beat Paddy in amateurs. Gave him a bit of scene in the national championships, I'm led to believe. And uh, what's his name? The boy from Newcastle, Cyrus Patterson. He's
There's
a good
Pat.
fighter.
Mhm.
He's a nice, cracking lad as well. Cracking lad.
Like I say, I'm looking forward to that fight. I cannot wait. Fingers crossed I get to go over to Belfast and cover it. But Billy, one final one from me then. You've heard what Eddie Hearn's had to say about reference the Dubois fight and the Bakole fight. Have you got a message for Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn reference this Bakole fight? And if all going well May 2nd and all going well if Joshua fights in April, May time, have you got a message for Joshua and Eddie if they see this?
Simply, let's get the fight made. I mean, the whole of Africa. You don't realise how huge that would be in Africa.
Hmm.
Two momentous boxers coming for that continent fighting each other. Well, Anthony Joshua's British, but his family originated there. But two big guys, one with Nigerian heritage and a Congolese fighter. That would be absolute the biggest African fight ever. Obviously, with two Africans, and they could do it in the historic venue where Foreman fought Muhammad Ali. How good would that be? I mean, it would be huge, mate, huge. 80,000 people or 90,000 people. Be fantastic. So there's absolutely no reason for it not to happen. Both camps seem to want to fight. His Excellency wants to fight. Let's get the fight done.
You know what? I hope the fight does happen because, like I said, that the history behind it with the Ali and Foreman and people comparing Bakole to Foreman and whatnot. So there is that sort of storyline behind it as well. Two big lumps that they are, and I can't see it going to 12 rounds as well. So you're almost guaranteed a knockout from someone. So it's going to be exciting if it does happen. And fingers crossed, I can be there because that's a fight I would not want to miss. But Billy, like I said to you, I know you're heading to the gym right now to train your fighters. So I do appreciate your time. And yeah, thank you very much, mate. And I'll see you in the next one.
All the best to you. Take care, Andy.
Thanks, Billy. Thanks, mate.